All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So this is a viewer request. It came yesterday. I really wanted to do it yesterday too. I try to do them the same day, but nonetheless, look, I often say if you comment on my videos, you can really dictate what I do and what I cover. So never hesitate to throw out a ticker, even if I'm not covering it. I'm telling you, I really do my best to say yes, okay? So I will be covering GTII. I'll be honest, I actually can't tell what this company does. There was some like weed stock news. There was some like other mining stuff news. Like I legitimately can't tell what sector this is in. You know, I don't care. I don't care about news. I don't care if this thing, I don't care if this thing was making chart reader posters that say chart readers is the worst ever. You know what I mean? Like if that line broke, I would have put some good money in it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I actually have no idea what this thing does. We'll get into the technical shortly, but real quick, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how this thing is setting up. We have our 5 moving averages. This is the first time I'm covering this stock, so I will draw some new horizontal support and resistance lines. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe. It does really well with the YouTube algorithms. But even if you don't, just thank you so much for watching these, okay? And then again, if there's a stock you want me to cover, just throw it in the comments. Do not hesitate, all right? And then, hey, if you disagree with anything I got to say, please throw it in the comments, all right? I am not perfect. I definitely make mistakes. And yeah, if your opinions are better than mine, I would love to hear them, okay? My cat's in the background playing with some paper. I hope that doesn't get too annoying. I'll kick her out if things get too bad. So look, yesterday on the comments, one of the things I said was we just broke the 100 and we really needed to see confirmation. If that happened, it really would have been a very different story than what we see here, right? I also talked about the weekly. I know I'm kind of going out of order a little bit, but this is a nice weekly chart. Again, it would have been cooler if we didn't go down 6%, right? Because where we were as of yesterday, it was obviously 6% higher, but what it looked like was a nicer candle above all the moving averages on the weekly. You want a good weekly chart to sincerely believe you'll have a great daily, right? So I loved that setup going into today. And today, this loss right here, what does it do? It proves why I talk about confirmation so much. I'm telling you, it seems silly when I say wait, but it ends up really working. And look, I get greedy. Believe me, sometimes I don't listen to my own confirmation rule, and I try to get in, trying to make a couple extra cents, a couple extra dollars on the ticker, right? And you know, is what it is, right? But yeah, this would have been a very different story if this size candle was up for real. All right, couple things to definitely talk about, right? 1, 2, 3, all 5 moving averages are now moving in a horizontal cluster. I generally don't like trading stocks that do this because, look, this is generally what happens. You kind of oscillate within these, sometimes peaking up, sometimes peaking down, and generally you're waiting for that violent move up. Or I gotta kick my kitty out. What are you doing, big kitty? Get out of here. No, you're disrupting my people now. Get out. Get out. Get out. I love you. All right, I'm sorry about that. Okay. So again, a horizontal cluster, I call it a tornado, right? Like you want that violent up, and you for sure cannot lose the last one because you will see a violent down. You know what I mean? But really all things that matter right now are basically this 100 moving average. And then I would very easily say this line right here. The problem, not necessarily problem, but look, this red has already actually been filled. Right? So in a lot of ways, oh man, what happens after that plateau though? Ooh, is that an all-time? Okay, I'll check it on the weekly, but yeah, I mean, basically from there, the next place will be coming, I think it's this guy, is basically right there, a little under 5, and then on the weekly, we'll see what happens after. But again, don't get focused up here. Right now, it's literally all about this moving average cluster, right? It either 100 breaks and you fly, 50 fails and you die, or you're just trading, oscillating within them. You know what I mean? And look, we're starting to tighten up, right? That's a big loop. We're now in a smaller loop. Like this thing is and then it should do something, you know what I mean? But yeah, super sad that it didn't go up today. There's not much more I can say than that, right? I was really loving this volume too. I talked about the nice kind of gradual, right? This one was here. Obviously, the next day went down, but the day after actually did go up, right? So I like that 3-day gradual. Clearly, we kind of go back down, and again, just sad sale. But look, I'm not necessarily like I'm not. I'm more bullish than bearish, but again, I'm not wildly happy, right? I do see this uptrend happening right here, right? So I like that, right? And hey, maybe we do come down, maybe we'll even come as low as hitting the line, right? But as long as we don't lose this trend, we are trending up. And yeah, I would much rather have my money in an uptrend than a downtrend. That much is for sure, right? I would much rather have my money outside of a moving cluster, like bring that shit right there. No, sorry to curse. I try not to do that, right? Like just get out of it and I'd be much happier, right? And then from there, obviously break this line. And there's a lot of reason to believe we would have kept going up, right? But yeah, those are basically it. Again, it's all about the 100 moving average. Has to break this $2 line, and then I need confirmation the next day, right? That's for sure. MACD, RSI don't look that great, and obviously we kind of talked about volume. I think that's about it. Let's look at the weekly just to see. So what does happen after that? Oh shit, man, is that all-time highs? Oh, it's not, but that's a monster line to break. Give me a sec. Let's look it up here real quick. What does this thing look like? Oh man, this doesn't look like that much good. I'll tell you that. I'll at least draw these lines, but yeah, that this 490 just roughly rounding, that's the monster line for sure. 490 is the money line here. Oops, zoomed in way too much. Sorry about that. There we go. Cool. Sorry, I moved around a little more than I wanted to, but just ending it here. Look, I personally actually would not enter this thing until it hit this, because the way I see, maybe you can make a little bit of an earlier entrance. Yeah, I guess this would probably be the earliest safest place. Maybe this 230. Personally, I wouldn't get in at 230. I'd wait for this 270 and then hopefully break that and then ride to this plateau, right? But yeah, overall, again, it all starts with these. So I think I spent a little too much time kind of saying the same thing. So sorry about that. Again, on the weekly, the daily is really what matters, right? Because if the daily goes up as it's supposed to, it'll take us away from this. And one more time, the weekly is 5x slower than the daily. It takes 5 days for one weekly candle, right? So if you have the weekly over all the moving averages, it's a beautiful thing, right? So just do keep that in mind. Again, overall, I'm a little more bullish than bearish, but not thrilled. You know what I mean? And again, I hate moving average clusters. That's just me personally. So, hey, I appreciate your time. You know that so much. More videos are coming.